All right, everybody. I am having all kinds of issues, and as soon as I change my camera, another one dies. So let's see if I can get this. Yeah, I can have one camera running, but not both. So this is gonna make me crazy. I'm gonna try one more thing. Let's try that. One more thing. We'll just try a different port. And if this doesn't work, gang, it's our internet. Sometimes on a Friday night, everybody wants to be on the internet. Oh my goodness, I think we might have it. Woohoo, we have it. All right, we're in business. Thank you all for your patience. I am sorry for the technical troubles. Let me move some stuff to the side so I can show you what we are up to, since I won't dare move this camera. Now I may have to push this back a little bit so that it can focus on here. It's struggling a little bit. Let's try that. Okay, we'll see what it does, how it does. Okay. Some of you saw I developed this piece, and it was inspired by the Birth of Venus, this Botticelli painting, famous artwork. And so in working, let me give you a little bit of an idea of where this came from, because I worked on it and worked on it and worked on it and developed an entire color scheme. You'll see I actually built templates over this, changed the head a bunch of times, finally got my drawing figured out, and now we're gonna put it on a panel that is a watercolor panel that I've made. And oh, thank you, W2 Tax Form. So glad you're here. I love your little dino that you've got going on. That's awesome. That's awesome. Lebowski, thanks for joining. Okay, we finally got it working. I don't know what's up, but if we start to get glitchy again, I'll know that it has to do with everybody streaming tonight on Friday night, because they're so excited about the weekend and probably came home and started watching movies. So I'm just going to blame my entire neighborhood. Okay, so we're rebuilding this painting with dinosaurs. And I've gone ahead and I've prepped the drawing part of it. I resized and changed the heads on my pterodactyls. This I worked on a lot so that she's got a really gentle look, and then I love that the octopus is doing her hair. I've also selected the color palette for this to match this painting. So we are using this color palette. I added some of the Daniel Smith iridescent colors. I don't know how much we'll use them, but I thought it would be lovely to add that in. And we're gonna start transferring this drawing that I've worked out onto the watercolor paper. Now, if you guys have never done this before, I would say, and you want a nice clean drawing, you can work your entire painting out like I did. So this right here, you know, was me working all this concept and colors and how it sat out. And then I started taking those pieces and changing them, and I had tracings that went over top of it, and I worked on it until I got it right, and then I made a clean tracing. Now I've got to do a little bit of tilting on this. My trees, I think she needs moved a little bit. My trees need to be straight because these are so straight. So I'm going to move this section over a little bit. And we're going to use graphite transfer paper to transfer this. And it's pretty slick. you can get, this is just a one sheet. You can get an inexpensive one sheet that you can use again and again, or you can get it in rolls. Ah, Lebowski, you want me to show some of these dinosaurs, huh? Okay, well, you guys stand by and I will show you some of these dinosaurs a little bit in, but we're going to get started on transferring this. So this graphite paper, you just open it up. Now it will get on things. It's erasable. That's really nice. So I did get my kneaded rubber, very dirty erasers out. I grabbed a little clean one that's brand new that's never been used. So we can take that out and try it too. And all you do is you put it underneath. And we'll do a section at a time. So to make sure that my trees are lined up along the top. And I want to make sure that when I take this paper out, it hits back to the right spot. So I'm just going to take my artist tape. And I'm going to secure this right on this side and wrap it around. And then I've got a clamp, so I can take this clamp, and I don't want it, it's got denties and it's a really good clamp, so I don't want it denting the paper. So I'm just gonna clamp down on this side over here. Ooh, I don't like how that's doing that. I don't know if I can get the clamp over the table. I might be able to, yeah, I can. So you guys can kind of see. So now, when I usually like to use a colored pencil. So I have a few here. I brought out a green, an orange, and a blue. I'm wondering, you guys might be able to see the orange the best, but I'm not sure. And I'm not gonna do this guy yet or her. I'm just gonna work on starting these trees so I know, you know, that I just do the tops and then move this paper and we'll get the rest. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to start in here. Can you guys see that? And because I drew it in blue, yeah, you can see it a little bit over here. The paper, let me tell you, W2 tax form, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what this is. So I mounted my hand on a sheet of board, like MDF board, kind of hardboard. Usually you can paint on it if you've ever painted. And I mounted the paper on it so it's a big panel. This right now is tracing paper that I just got at Hobby Lobby. It's made by Fabriano. It's really nice and thick. Tracing paper does not all, it's not all the same. It comes in different thicknesses. And the Fabriano tracing paper that's Master's Touch by Hobby Lobby, I am not sponsored in any way, but I absolutely love it. So I've gone through little pads of it, and then when they have their sales, I'll go get it. So like I have a great big giant, here's what it looks like. In case you guys like art materials, see how it's Master's Touch and it's made by Fabriano, and it is 45 pounds, which is so nice. Some of the stuff I get is, you know, 20 pounds and it's real, it tears real easy. This is thick. Now it wasn't big enough to cover my sheet, but I was able to tape two together and do this. And I'll lift this, you're gonna see, I'm gonna lift this up and show you. You'll be able to see what I mean about the artwork staying in place when you do this. And luckily we're doing 3 sections. We'll do the pterodactyls separately, and we're gonna trace this. I wanted to be able to make really beautiful washes, especially in this sky and the water. And I think I'm going to use some masking fluid to try to get these little patterns like Botticelli had in the water. So I want to stay true to his work and yet keep it my work. The dinosaurs I researched, and I look at a lot of bones. And then when I paint them, I really work on trying to imagine what I think they look like. So this is completely built based off of the famous painting, but everything is dinosaur theme, including these trees. Like this is more of like a Mediterranean type of tree right here. I changed it to something that would be more likely to have been seen during dinosaur times. The foliage was a bit different back then. So we're just gonna come in here like this and this. Hopefully I'm pressing hard enough to transfer it. We'll see. Okay, so let's take this off and I'll show you. Oh yeah, I'm pressing nice and hard. Do you see that? I've got a little bit of glare here and this is all taped down. So, oof. Let me see if I could get the camera. There, you can kind of see it. The paper you can get a lot, like probably, I don't know, maybe 10 times, but you have to pay attention to turn it a lot because wherever you use it, it's gonna lift. So let me show you up close. Do you see that? It's lifting all the graphite right off of there. So you'll start seeing that you'll draw lines and then it just kind of skips lines, loses them. I'm gonna lift this down here and put it underneath up to where I think the treetops are going. Right there. And now I'm gonna draw these guys in. And now that I know how dark that is, I probably don't have to press as hard as I was pressing. This right here is like a little foliage line. As I work on this series, I keep feeling like they need to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And so even the ones that you see tonight, I really want to make them even larger, like 30 by 40 and bigger. All right. All right, I will pull out and give you guys a little bit of eye candy now and then. And let me pull out one of the dinosaur pieces for you to see what I'm up to. For those of you guys who may be new and want to see this. So let me show you real quick on this again. Look at that. Now we've got the tree branches. Now I don't have them all the way down. I still have this little piece up here to get. So I want to get this real quick. Kind of want it almost like a cypress coming over there. And then I'm going to take this and put it underneath. And I'm not going to worry about this landmass just yet. We'll kind of look and figure out what we want to do with it. But I'm going to get this guy in here. Maybe not the whole thing, but close enough. And voila, we have one corner. The trees are in. And I like that there. Okay? So now, let's set this to the side. I'm going to show you one of my pieces. A smaller one. And if you've ever seen the girl with the pearl earring, here is my recreation of the girl with the pearl earring, only with the dinosaur. Now, this has been sitting in my studio a while, and the more I look at it, the more I feel like I am going to have to make this massive. So I'll repaint it again, and I'll probably go looking at certain things. Like I've been studying horns on rhinoceroses, because I can only imagine that a triceratops had something very much like a rhinoceros. And then elephant skin and different kinds of skin that they might have had, and the bony plates, how they tear. So just one of the pieces, I thought you guys might like to see this. That gives you an idea of one of the pieces that I've done. I'm going to bring another one here in a little bit, so hang out for a bit. We're going to maybe do the pterodactyl on this side before we place the middle part. So throw that guy over there. And now I've got to untape it. So let's pull the tape off gently. I can reuse that tape. Same on this end. I can kind of reuse it. Annie C, welcome. We're coming back to this one. Okay, I think I want my pterodactyls. I'm really looking at these angels in the corner so that we can place them. And I love their angle. I wanted, them looking up more. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to take that same piece of stuff. First, I'm going to tape it down again. And I'm going to tape it over on this side. And it should pretty much stay where it is. I'm going to start with their heads, since that's kind of important. And let's see how much of that beak and head we can get into this. Not bad. Pretty good. Missing a little bit, so we'll have to move it again. But that's a start. Same as before. So I will come in here and go right over my lines. And because I'm using a different color, orange on top of the blue, I can see where I've been. That way I don't lose track of where I've gone in tracing. I had a lot of issues getting online tonight. I blamed all our neighbors, saying they're all watching movies. I don't know if that's what it was, but boy, either our internet was working slow or my cameras were just having a moment. They weren't really happy. I'd get one working and then the other one would stop. I highly doubt I will be able to do dinos for 3 weeks. I'm going to Australia and I leave on Friday, next Friday. And definitely next Friday night I will be in the air, so there's no way I'll be able to broadcast any dinosaurs. I am going to be visiting a number of museums when I'm in Australia to draw, photograph, and film their dinosaurs because I need more bone studies. So if I'm able to do any kind of live stream, I will try it. We'll see. I don't know what internet's going to be like. If anybody has any tips, just drop a note in chat if you've been there before. Since I stream during prime family TV time, yes, Lebowski, you are correct. I kind of set myself up. Doomed, doomed. All right. Let's move our sheet. Get the rest of our dactyls in here. And then we'll take a look and see how it transferred now that we've done a few sections of this transfer paper. I was really excited when the art store had just like, this says 4 sheets. I must have used the other ones because they're not in here. But it was very inexpensive, like a couple dollars in US money. And versus a great big roll. It's a lot more expensive to get a roll of it. The roll is nice. Definitely more expensive. Okay. Pterodactyls. Aren't they awesome? They're so fun. I think they're the cutest thing. Not if they're chasing you and about to eat you. That's not fun. Okay, let's see. I'm kind of looking at the placement of her, and I want to make sure she's placed right. So lift this up again. And here's the cool thing, like if I wreck this painting, I can reuse this. I'm gonna decide if I want her to the right. She's very far to the right in this piece. Like if halfway is here, there's halfway. Oh, she's just a little bit over the halfway. That was a good exercise to do. Her left side, here's the halfway mark. Right there. So that's kind of good to know. If I find my halfway mark, I'm gonna just cheat it. Oof, maybe not. Okay, that's the halfway point. Okay, that's just for me to measure on here I don't want to put that. So I know that my halfway point is right at that guy. So I want her a little bit to the right of that. So we're going to move her over. And I want her up high enough, but not too high. So really we're going to pay attention to where I put her. I think that's probably going to be pretty good. All right. That's where she's going to go. So, oops, or not. All right. Almost feel like I need to put him before I put her. Because he's going to move. Well, he'll move a little closer, so that's good. That's actually good. We're going to leave it right here. Okay, there's that. Now, yes, it looks blurry, but that's only because everything's offset a little bit because of where I put her. So do not, it's not you, it's me. So let's see how our paper does. Right here. And we're going to go ahead and trace her. I have a weekend this weekend where I don't have anything planned. And now that I'm working on this, I think I ought to go look at the fish and the penguins and the seals and then go over to the aquarium, and we have sharks. I don't think we have any porpoises or dolphin-like things. But I think that really looking at those squeaky gray surfaces would help me to come up with the right texture for that guy. And when I was in Monterey, I took a bunch of photos of their octopi and video so that I could practice drawing octopi, which is like one of those things I keep going back to in my sketchbook. I don't know why. I just like to draw them. They're fun. Oh, look, I'm tracing over an area that doesn't have anything under it. So that wasn't real bright of me. So now I'll have to remember to just get that down there. I think I got all of that top part. So let's see what we've got. Very nice. Should come in together, huh? Wait. Lebowski, are you giving me a hard time? All right, let's see. There we go. Okay. Now I know that this part probably did not get traced, so we're just going to go over it one more time. I can always just fill it in and draw it myself if I miss something. I have to sharpen my pencil in a second. Oh, I knocked my pencil sharpener down the other day and I was so worried that I had broken it, but I didn't. It's all good. It's pretty sturdy. You guys are very quiet in chat. This middle section has two parts of the tracing paper on it, so I'm worried that it's not gonna get all my lines, but I think it'll be okay. And his little toes. And then one last piece of shell. So I'm just going to pull this over a little bit. Maybe. Get this last piece. Make sure it's all lined up. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's see what we got now. We're missing the porpoise, but we want to see how it all looks. You can see where I rubbed it really hard right there, but I believe that the eraser will help us. We're going to clean it up quite a bit with the erasers once we get it all on here. That'll give you a little idea. And there'll be so much paint on there. Oh, let me, so you can kind of see. There, now you can see a little better. The camera is tilted. No, there we go. And back. There you go. Now you got a little more. Okay, so we've got one character left. Annie C, am I ready for my trip? Oh my goodness. Yeah, he is. Lebowski is so right. It has been hacking the pack. So when we travel, my daughter is going with me and to Australia. And poor husband has to stay home. Doesn't have to, but is staying home. And I'm looking for the painting. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing. What I'm trying to gauge is where I want this porpoise to come in here. Now this will go over some of my lines that I did, but I'm looking for, like, it's actually pretty high up. And I'm thinking I want it a little closer to here. I'm almost wondering if I should cut this guy off so we can see how that looks. So he's not so, let me look at it this way. Because I liked him down here. Her head and their head were up. But I have a feeling he should be like way up high. Like this high. Okay, so we're going to cut him off so I can see it. It's too hard to see the way it is. I can always redraw this. Ready? Isn't this crazy? Whew. And to make it even better, there we go. There we go. We're just gonna cut it off. When all else fails, chop it up. Okay. So let's take a look at this. If this were, here's what we've got. Kind of looking at the weight of it and the tilt. And should it go that high? I think that's a little too high. I think just reaching for it would be fine. I may need new tape. Oh, I think I was talking about travel, wasn't I? And when I got distracted. Okay, new pencil. Pencil sharpened. Anyway, what I was talking about with travel was, wow, that is way into these trees. I wonder if I'm even going to be able to get that all off. We'll see. Hopefully I can. Before I place this differently, let's just see how much I can remove. Oof, not the best. It is really in there, but we're gonna work it for a bit, so hopefully I can hide my pencil lines. Okay, so this stuff really, really digs itself in, FYI. Brush is kind of wet. But I like I don't know, I kind of like the weight of him a little lower. So you'll watch me agonize. Here we go, we're going to agonize. This is where I think I originally had him, which I like. I actually really like that. It's a little bit off from where he was. Maybe back a hair. All right, I'm doing it. I'm gonna put him down. And then we'll have to work on the crisscross lines later. And then we'll have the land mass around him that I've got to do. So we're traveling carry-on only and making sure that we have everything we need. The closer it gets to the trip, the more art supplies I keep adding to the luggage, which is really funny. Originally, I was like, no, I'm just going to do a little bit of sketching. And then it was like, well, I'm going to paint on the plane. And now I'm like, how can I not go to all these beautiful places and paint for reals, like plein air painting? So that's where we're at. And I'm going to finish packing this weekend and have everything sitting, waiting to ready to go. I never liked that line in here, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I do like this, but I don't like it up through there. Oh, and look, I didn't even draw that line. Once again, there you go. Let's see, where is he? It's right near the tail. So move this down. Luckily, and I actually like that it gave me that opportunity because I'm going to change the other side of that tail a little bit. And let's take a look what we got. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Okay. And then I just draw that line right between there. So now I've got this land mass. And what I was trying to do was decide where I wanted the land to land, where it hits land. So we kind of need to decide that. So, and then I'm gonna need to take my straight edge to determine. So on this one, if it is 6.5 wide and it hits at 2.5, 3.25, that's way up. And this guy is, I think it's 20 or 22. This is 22 inches. So if we do math, %, 8.46 times. Yep. So 8.5 inches. That easy. We're just gonna math it, which is way higher than I would have guessed. I think I'm going to take it down to 9. I kind of like 9. So we're going to 9 inches. ribbon half. Doing my own thing. 9 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches, 9 inches, and then I just want a light line. This is the water line, guys. But that helps us when we are putting this landmass over here. So do you see there's this little landmass? I've got a little landmass to draw in here. And I'm just gonna kind of draw it in like this. It comes all the way over in there. All right. And then I can even mirror these guys and go, okay, I know that about a third of the way up in the shell, this comes out. I don't think I sized that right. And this one, and then there's one more in here. And I think I don't like how that, I liked mine better. I'm gonna go back to mine instead of that. And meet in the middle with it, maybe. Compromise. There. And then there. And then back around. All the way down, just like that. Okay. All right, guys. Now we've got to do some erasing, and then we can draw some of the flowers that I have so that I have all the foundation in. But I've got to get, let's try this new rubber eraser and open it and see how it does. Look, we've lost everybody except for one. As my stream still going, gang? Okay, so first I'm going through here and I'm just doing some basic cleanup just to get those dirty marks off, and then we're gonna really start lifting this to lighten it. And then I've got this whole section which needs some serious help because I should have drawn him first and I didn't. I should have known better. But no, I got all excited. So he's a mess right there. There's a mess in here and in here. All right. And like, look at these up here. I've got graphite. So you can kind of take the kneaded eraser and work it, kind of rub that stuff into it. But if you roll it, you can pull up the graphite off of it. Now this graphite is really on there. So note to self, that graphite really works well. Barely have to push down, so I've got to be a lot lighter handed the next time I use it. So it's pretty heavy handed. Oh, and I want to brush this off so it's not all in my eraser. Of course, every time I brush it, I'm just dragging more stuff. So we'll just keep working it. Let's see, you guys want to see a Spinosaurus where it is? I keep looking at it thinking, what am I going to do with it next? Does it need work? And I haven't done anything with it in a while. It just sits in my studio staring at me. So I'll show you that. Just to give you guys a break from my erasing. There's a lot of erasing to do. Throw my rulers away. Let's get that guy out and I'll show you real quick. All right, if you've ever heard of the artist Bev Doolittle, she does these beautiful watercolor paintings of nature, and often there'll be hidden things blended into them. So this is not a replica of any piece that she's done. I just wanted Spinosaurus to be in his own comfortable predatory environment. This piece is 18 by 24. And then I've put, like, you'll see up in the trees, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, there's these little dinosaurs in here for scale. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was looking at this, and you can't really tell the colors on this because of the camera's not true to life, but it gives you a really good idea. And I thought, well, maybe I scaled the greens, the algae underneath, too gigantic, because these fish would be big fish. Like, this guy is massive, and I thought the boulders should be really massive. So I don't know that he reads scale quite right, but I love that he's so alligator-like, and I wanted his tail fin to kind of blend in when you're looking here. I might bring a little more of that into this. I don't want too much, just so you're like, wait a second, what is this? And I really liked this striping on this back fin, because I wanted it to look almost Egyptian. So he's quite believable as a creature that you would find just floating out there. But then you go, wait a second, that's not an alligator. What is that? So that's this guy for the dinosaur series. And can you imagine what he would look like if he was 6 feet tall? I think he'd be so cool if he was like, or 6 feet long, if I painted this super big. So it has some big panels and gigantic roll of heavy watercolor paper, so that I can start recreating these even larger, you know, in my spare time. So that's Spinosaurus. He's a favorite. I am really excited about this piece. When I started working on it, I was like, I don't know if I can pull this one off, but I think it's going to be extremely beautiful. And it reminds me of the painting, only it's just so different with this cast of characters. So I'm trying hard to make them dinosaurs that existed in the same time period, to be true to foliage, and to give them a really lifelike quality when I paint them, and painting them in my style. So this is a really incredible project as far as drawing from my imagination and creating scenes and building a huge series of work. It has been such a great practice, but also it's just fun. It's just fun. Oh. This is tedious, let me tell ya. I am sorry, everybody. I don't know that you're going to want to watch much more of this. And that's okay. I think what we'll do is do about 10 more minutes. If you guys have any questions or ideas, let me know. Feel free to just drop it in chat. I have a number of pieces in progress right now, and I try to jump around on them, but I'm hoping. It's been a very busy winter, way busier than I anticipated. I taught a class for a local art group, and that was supposed to be in March when I got back, but it was moved up to January, so there was that. And then I needed to get a whole new set of artwork to my gallery, which I really need to get on social and do a bunch of posts because they're all Route 66, really exciting new pieces, a lot of neon, so I'm pretty excited about them. So I had to paint and frame and get those to the gallery. And then yesterday, still February, I taught for Streamline Publishing Plein Air Magazine's Gouache Bootcamp. And I taught how to mount watercolor paper to panels like this piece. Now, I might wig my camera out to show you. But it is on a giant wooden board. And they're just fantastic. You can seal them. I taught how to wax, how to varnish. And so that was really, really fun and exciting. That was yesterday. And then when I get back in March, Streamline Publishing has a show on YouTube. So if you guys ever want to just jump on there at lunchtime, it is every day at lunch, and it is called Art School Live. It's free. So those of you who are artists and just want some inspiration, jump on there online at lunch, and I will be on Art School Live on March 18th, and we are going to do painting gouache in a black sketchbook, which is one of my favorite sketchbook practices. I absolutely love it. So I'm super excited. I'm going to show everybody just the basics and how fun it is. Change up your sketchbook practice, or just start sketching in a black sketchbook with gouache. So that is on March 18th, and I believe it may be, I think it's noon Eastern time, but I'm not positive. So I'm gonna have to do some finagling at work so that I'm, quote, unavailable during that time, and just take an early lunch if it's that early. I don't know if it might be a little later, but it's somewhere around there. And hopefully you guys can tune in. It's a great show. If I'm in my studio and just working quietly, it is fun to put that show on. You will learn a ton and get familiar with all kinds of artists, and it's just a really great show out there. I think he does Feedback Friday. Eric Rhodes is the owner of that publishing company, and he does Mondays. I think it's Art Marketing Mondays is what he does. So if you want to learn more about art marketing, that is Mondays. Fridays is Feedback Friday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are guest artists. So I'm excited about that. Okay, this still has a lot of stuff on it, guys. I'm trying to get as much up as I can because I don't want it to contaminate the paint when I start painting. And the graphite will contaminate the paint. So I want to make sure that I don't have to, like, I'd really like to get all of these trees inside his fin up. But I want to clean this all up. I just need a general idea of where everything is. I don't need it super line. You shouldn't even see these lines when I'm done. You'll never even know they were here. Dun, 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 dun. Gouache Boot Camp, Annie C, was fabulous. I'll show you some of, that'll be fun. Let me show you guys what I made. So I had to show, like, you know, in cooking, anytime you're watching television and they cook something, usually on the news channels they do this, but through the magic of television, they'll speed time up just because they'll have things in the oven. You just keep it in the oven. So I did the same thing where I would have other layers ready to go. And I didn't want to lose the audience, so I thought it would be really fun to make cat timers. However, I started panicking. It was taking me way long. I was talking too much, and I thought, I'm going to run out of time or get behind on time. So to speed it up, I missed one of my cat timers that I had made. It was Stephanie's cat, Remy, who I had made into Bat Cat, and she was like my best. I don't know, they were so cool. So let me start, and then we'll do the grand finale with Remy, and I'll show you what I made. This one, I don't know where my Pogo cat is. Oh, you guys may not get to see Pogo. Because I don't know where, oh, there it is, there it is. Okay, so let's do Pogo Cat first. And then I'll show you. So I started out with this timer. I took my cat Pogo and I made her into a timer, which I thought was hysterical. Not that this like really can tell time, but the whole point was just, you need to wait an hour between your layers and then go back to it. So I brought Pogo Cat out. And then Phyllis, my friend Phyllis, I don't think she's on here tonight. She has a Maine Coon named Jabba, and I thought that because his name was Jabba, he had to have his own spaceship. So I made this so that Jabba can put it into light speed and then take off after an hour. So that's my Jabba cat. But then, this is so fun. I'm going to take the cats I made for my friends, give it to them. My friend Stephanie has Remy, and she's an all-black cat. And I thought that, oh, it goes like this. So you keep this under here. And then when she's ready to skedaddle for her hour, she turns her motorcycle on and she like exits. So I didn't even get to Remy Cat, and I thought she was the best. That is so funny. Look at the flames on that. Isn't that hysterical? I should have made the wheels so they could turn too. But I thought it was really funny. So she's got a little Batman mask on. She's Remy Cat, Bat Cat. Anyway, so once I eliminated those, I didn't get Remy Cat out. But I did get it back on track on time because I was so freaked out about time. And it was so fun because my friends were all watching and took screenshots and posted them on social. It was just really cool. Like, it was just really cool. And it was good to know that they were all out there. So I thought that was super fun. So yeah, cat timers and all. And ended up with enough time, just finished right on time. So that was good. So it's nice to have that behind me, but then I've got the other one to prep for. And that won't be as much prep because I'm only covering painting in a black sketchbook, and I'll talk about and show examples of different things I've painted. And then we'll do one together. I gave them a resource image of, I think I painted with it, all of you on Art Tip Tuesday. It's an old worn down barn in New Mexico that I found with a field in front of it. And because there's great dark negative shapes, I thought it would be fun to paint in the sketchbook with that image. So that's what I sent them to use. So we'll paint that. And I'm sneaking, yes, I thought, well, I'll do a few Australia sketches in my black sketchbook. So I'm taking one of my black sketchbooks to Australia in addition to a brand new sketchbook, and then 2-3 homemade sketchbooks for my project sketchbooks. So I've got a lot going on. And then when I get back, I got to start painting more Route 66 and promoting it on social. So I have a lot. And travel. Okay. Am I finally, I still think there's too much lead on this, personally. It's getting there. Okay, guys. So let's talk about where I want to start with this and what I'm not certain. You know what? We have got to draw my flowers in. So we're going to get, before I start putting paint on this, because that's about next. And I even have brought my, I'm going to make big puddles of paint. So I've got my limited palette for this piece. That's all we're working on for this entire piece. This would be the color palette. And then I think what I want to do is go ahead and give myself the idea of, I'll show you guys what I was thinking. And let's put this down here so you can kind of see it. And you'll see. You may not be able to see this. There are, I think they're called pussy willows down here, or cattails in the bottom side of this on the left. And I wanted to instead do, oh, what are these? Water lilies? I can't remember what these are. They have a tall stalk, but I looked it up and they existed. And these flowers existed instead of the flowers they had in this. So I found flowers that existed, only we need to kind of draw them down here. So that is part of what we need to add. And then figuring out, you know, do I mirror exactly where each of these are? I could. And then just change the top part, you know, make sure that the leaves are correct for the type of flower it is. But what I could do is indicate where they all are in here. Like there's one, it's between their feet, but I probably will put it here and maybe one here. And, you know, I want to make sure that I true-ish to magnolias. That's what these are, magnolias. To the artwork. So we're gonna start with, and I wasn't really here. I feared because the cattails, they had like a clump in here, which I thought was really odd, and a little clump over here. And I balanced it out, but I might need to make a couple in here. So I would say down by the feet, I'm just going to draw a stem. So I know that that is where one of my magnolias goes. This one, under the toes, right there is a magnolia. And this one up by the knee, it's where this wing is. So I'm going to have to move it a little bit. But I think I'll just do it like this. And then move this. That was just to give you guys an idea of what I was talking about. So that's going to be a magnolia. There's going to be one right in here. And another one right in here. And then another one right in here. And then there's one falling right in here. And one right here. and one right here. And here. And even up like right there. And they're over their clothes too. So I see one like floating. There's a little one back here. There's one probably right about there. So it's like a little shout out to the actual painting to put those in. And then the same with when I get into these water features, I think I'm going to try to do it with resist and draw this out with resist before I do the wash. And then I can come in and start to work with it. So I think I'm just going to paint the resist right onto this. And I can do that on my flowers too if I draw these all out. So if we draw all the flowers out, that's going to help a lot. And there are a whole bunch of flowers up through here. So we're going to get all of those and the magnolias. Okay, so I've got some planning still to do on this and a lot more erasing to lighten this all up. And I think that's going to be it tonight, guys, unless you're just hankering to hang out and watch. Thanks so much for hanging out while I get this onto the board. It's got a lot of drawing left as far as like the flowers and this part. And then where my squiggle lines are. So I've got quite a bit of work to do in addition to erasing. And then I got to decide if I go ahead and paint this weekend on it or if I hold off and I can wait and we can do some of these washes. But I think it's going to be really enjoyable to watch the big washes of paint. So if I can get all the details and the masking fluid on this, then you guys can see me flood it with paint, and I think that would be really rewarding as a viewer. So I'm sorry this was such a boring show, a lot of work in this, and but I like where it's going. I think it's, you know, I'm sitting here going, maybe I should have had this over, but I didn't want it that far over. Maybe these guys should have been over a little bit, but they would have run into her. And there is all this negative space that's in here, so we're just gonna, this is really busy on this one too. So we're gonna go with it. I think it's all good. Lebowski, I see you're going nuts with the emojis. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you, I will be on Art Tip Tuesday. So I'll see you on Tuesday. And then I will be gone probably for a while I'm in Australia. And I will see you guys in about a month or a few weeks, about 3 weeks. So take care, everybody.